Many churches and congregations here in Vermont tend to be socially progressive. We get confused that people don't want to hang out with us. We see the harm that Christian nationalists are causing in our country, and we pride ourselves on not hurting people the way that they do. But just because a church has left-leaning politics doesn't mean that they don't hurt people. Liberal churches just have different things that set them off. For instance, churches in Vermont tend to be very traditional. We worship with the same formula that we've been practicing for well over 400 years. And the people that do show up to church can get very attached to that tradition. On the other hand, at least here in Vermont, I've noticed younger people, people my age, people with families, are religiously non-traditional. They are behind the wheel of their own faith journey, and they don't want to have anybody tell them where to go with it. When they show up to churches like mine, they're usually interested in sharing. They want to receive information that will help them on their journey and give information to help others. That is biblical worship. But it's also a type of worship that can make folks in Vermont churches uncomfortable. Churches that see themselves as being socially progressive should be asking themselves the same sort of questions they would encourage conservative religion to ask. Do we follow Jesus or do we follow something else? Do we worship God or do we worship a hymnal or the pews in our church? Are we willing to worship God in ways outside of our comfort zone, especially if everybody else around us is engaging with God differently? We should remember that Jesus was religiously non-traditional. His greatest teachings came outside of traditional worship. For instance, the Beatitudes and the Sermon on the Mount. Jesus' greatest commandments to love God and neighbor were delivered in a debate. And Jesus often warned how tradition can keep us from hearing the voice of God in our lives around us, such as when he was healing in the towns and the synagogues during the Sabbath. Jesus encouraged his followers to grow their faith. And as long as traditional religion is open to letting people grow their faith, I think it's a good thing. But here in Vermont, we too tend to be very religiously traditional. And if we use our tradition as an excuse to deny other people the freedom to grow their own faith, then we're doing the same thing that Christian nationalists are doing.